Let's see. I guess the first thing I want to do is just check the battery.
I don't see it being yet, Jim.
You're right.
Where is it being? I don't even see where it's supposed
to be. And then I kept a good 100 ohm resistor, and I do one side of that through my little jumper wire. Then I take another jumper wire and I connect it on to a light, because the light will draw some current, and so that's kind of good. You know, you just don't want to blow up the gauge, because if you went straight 12 volts straight to the gauge, you probably might blow it up. So what we're looking for is, right now, if I look over at my gauge and our key is on the on position, we can see that like it's all the way empty, right? So if this is a 330 ohm resistor, we should have some, you know, something, right? So we're going to confirm with the key off first. We're going to go back over here. You saw there was nothing. I'm going to connect onto that resistor down there. And this should be a little less than a half a tank. 100 ohm resistor. So maybe a little less than half. So now if we look over here and I turn the key to the on position, hopefully it goes to there. And it does. Anyway, just get you a notebook. So like on this one, I think the biggest thing is like, well, first of all, I'm just gonna label it. No, this is a different battery I'm testing now.
Oh, yeah.
It says it's got 525. Look at this thing. It's a Bass Pro Shops. It's got oil all over the top of it. So that means something spilled on it.
Spillages?
Battery low.
Well, it's got a bazillion wires coming off of
It says check connection.
Well,
see?
I mean, that's like...
This is ridiculous is what it is. Here, let me show you guys this.
It's like ridiculous, man.
Well, no wonder you ain't got no spark, buddy. You ain't, you know.
Got wires going everywhere.
My battery dead now?
I don't know.
Must be. Need to charge it. What I'm talking about here is this here right here. See there's wires everywhere on all that stuff. I mean, now come on, man.
How many wire, count how many are on a
Okay, on the negative, you got this thing, which is a piece of crap. Okay, you should have went straight to the post with the engine battery, but you got 1, 2, 3, 4 wires on that. And then on the red, it's even worse, because you got this deal, which is just a fuse, and they're crappy. And you got 1, 2, you got, and then over here you got 4, basically 4 on, 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, 4 on both sides. This is most likely a charging. So he's probably got an onboard charger, which he plugs in back here.
Well,
But the first thing, you got to clean that all off. It's
right.
And well, plus get that off of there and put it directly to the battery.
Here's a thought, Jeff, is that, you know, you want both connections to be good, but in my mind, that many negative wires tells me at some point there's a bad ground somewhere, because you've stacked them like that.
You're using wing nuts. They never get tight enough.
Right.
You know, so that's another thing.
And you got to think about the turbulence going down a lake.
Yeah, and the heat cycles.
You're constantly getting bounced around, you know, and those back out. That's why I use lock washers.
2 nuts.
And 2 nuts.
Yeah.
And I don't ever have any issues going down the lake. They don't back out on me, you know, and plus I don't put that many wires on a terminal.
Yeah.
That's just kind of wild.
The only thing you got to do about that, make sure both of your nuts are like a material that's not going to rust. So like if you look at this stainless steel down here for these, it's already rusting, so that's making a bad connection. Now of course you're all the way around it with this material, but in my mind that's still making a loose connection.
Yeah.
Same thing with over there.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're preaching out.
See, your starter for your motor is gonna be kind of deprived of.
Yeah, this thing.
You know, it's not gonna have the pull it needs. You know, you gotta think about when you're starting a motor. It's a surge. It needs a power.
Right.
And if you got all that junk on there, it's gonna affect the surge. It's that simple.
Right, and this engine, it wants to see a certain voltage and amperage. If it doesn't see it, you're not gonna have spark. Yeah. And that's probably what's going on here.
Yeah.
I don't know that, but that's what I'm thinking.
You'll dig in and find out.
Yeah. Hey, what's going on? Well, been busy already today, but got a new project, and that's this Johnson Venom 200 horsepower, and I'm gonna fill up the tub. I thought I had it going. Yeah, I got it going. 200 horsepower Venom. So I guess we'll try to figure this one out. Now already, like, the tilt is real janky coming down, and there's one spot I added some fluid. We'll see if it kind of comes back around. I'm gonna spray this latch because it's old, and just, you know, anyway, I don't know what year. We got a tag down here. What is that? Johnson 200 STLECE. That's what we got right here. So, I don't know. See if this thing will come off without breaking. Yeah, see, if I tried that a minute ago, man, it would have been really difficult. But with it, throw a little spray on there, and then all of a sudden it comes off good. Just wipe it off. That oil will just soak in there. You know, when I get done, I'll probably even spray it down. Got some super clean. I need to do a super clean video. They asked me to see the one in the front. It's the same way. So these ones, you know, the way they are, you know, you gotta grease your stuff, fellas. You gotta put a little grease on it. This stuff is great because it's, you know, it won't hurt anything. I've said this a million times, but it's true. Looks like we got a little leak. I can see it underneath here. This is what we're doing, our first time visual inspection, right? So this is what I see. I see, like when these bulbs, for instance, when they start to get real old, then they're kind of black on the outside. If you grab this long, this looks fairly new, but maybe not great. Now see, it just pops right open. We're gonna clean this up while we're here. And that's just terrible. Pretty bad. But this stuff will help with that too, because this stuff will kind of get on out of there. Just get you an old rag and clean her up. I should have put on some gloves. Never do. And you go down like that, it'll come right off of there. Alright, and we'll, should be loose. See how we got it? Yeah, we got a crank no fire, he said. That's what I've been told. We don't know if it's a kill switch, if it's, could be a kill switch. So we're gonna take off, you know, a line of black and yellow. See if it'll start. And if it won't, so if we can't get it started right away, then we'll do our compression test and spark test, and you know, we want to see what the condition of all this is in. So right now I can tell he's got something leaking somewhere, some old fuel line, something, and it's pretty much like this block that I worked on. It's like that 88 Johnson that's out at the marina, almost exactly the same. Some of this is a little different, like this, you know. Yeah, let me show you spark timing. It's a little newer. I don't know what year. Probably, I don't know. We'll look at that. We'll wipe some of this down, but I want to find out where it's leaking. So far, visually, I don't see anything. Let's see what happens if we kind of put it in a warm-up mode and crank on it. Alright, so I think we're going to get out our compression tester and, you know, all that stuff, and check his battery, because that will stop it from firing. If you have a low battery, it will stop it from firing. So, even though it cranks, it's not putting out enough of those pixies for that trigger and everything to work. So, we get set up, I'll be back. Everything. He said he doesn't have a kill switch on this. Still should have a key off. Try that before we do anything. May have to look at my wiring diagrams. It's probably in here. I don't know if we can undo that or not. If I can find where his kill wire is. That's not it. He has this. Yeah, let's take a visual inspection, I guess, because we do have a lot of leaking fuel. I have to look and see which manual I have. Pretty sure that I would have this. Just going in like that. We got our two relays up here. This is obviously our fuse. It wouldn't crank if the fuse was messed up. This was really not in detent. So that could have been a problem. I don't know if it was the problem, but no fire is something different. Alright, so if you haven't figured this out by now, what I do with this stuff is I film it, and then, like, I'm just thinking out loud. So, you know, there we have it. But sometimes it just, yeah, I don't know how to explain it. These are kind of an old setup. I mean, it's easy. I can set up this. I have a lot of things I gotta check right away. You know, you kind of gotta get set up, you know what I mean? So you have a VRO pump, and that's fine. I don't have anything against that. But these are all, you know, Deutsch connectors, or what'd you call them? Well, actually, the VRO here is off. So we, you know, he's capped off the oil lines, so there's no oil coming up. It's capped off. It's just visual inspections, you know. Again, obviously we have a no spark situation. So unfortunately, this one is like sort of that era where, you know, you don't, it needs a good port to be able to disconnect that wire. This, what is it, black and yellow would be in this one. So, well, I just heard something pop. Maybe that was this. That's okay, that's weird. Maybe we weren't all the way in. Huh, see, that's what I mean. Like, you know, we unplugged this. Or we could slide it out. That's how it works. This is our black and yellow one here. Well, that looks fine. But our black and yellow is going to go over, you know, to the to your power pack. Unfortunately, this is another one where that is all the way up here on top. Slide this back because this looks fine. And get it in there. Yeah, there we go. And then like back here somewhere you might find, oh yeah, there's black and yellow. Here we go. So you got to find this black and yellow, and then on this one it just happens to be back here, and that was over there where I was showing you. So we're just going to pop this off, and we're going to disconnect that, and we're going to see if we now have spark. See, this goes down around, you know, it goes back up here. It's trucking back up in here somewhere. So you never know, you could have a problem down here somewhere. It's shorting or something's happening, and it looks like it's kind of, right now it's laying underneath where the shift is. Or is that new style? Yeah, I think it is. So it could be a bad neutral safety switch, which is down here, and it's laying in all this muck. I'll go get a light and you can see it. I'm not saying that's it, but it could be. See, right there, black, yellow. And it goes into that neutral safety switch is right there. And if we just kind of stick our arm down there, we can tell that it's in neutral. And now I have the warm-up lever on. See, I've got the warm-up lever cocked forward just a little bit. And that's only to give it some more gas. But now that I know this, like, you know, we're going to disconnect that, and I'm going to crank it again before I start doing spark and compression test and all that stuff. Let's see what happens now. So obviously nothing. So then, you know, to do a spark test real fast, I can just hook up to my number one with the timing light, and I'll have to put this on the battery, which I believe is down in there. And if I want, I can just hook up my remote start and just do it straight off of where the solenoid is in the back, and that's going to be up here on top. And it's a little bit of hairball because, you know, you don't want to touch this block or anything, but, you know, we'll just be careful with it. And then the other side of this post goes right here, so I'll do that next, and then it'll show that I got connectivity. You know, there's power coming through it. So now I can hook up my timing light to the battery and see if we ever got spark or not. So we're just trying to chase it down, you know. I don't know if it's in here. Nope. Whoop. And then he's got his seat. So I may, well, that's probably enough. Boy, he's got a lot of stuff on this. Oh well. I'm not a big fan of this kind of thing. Let's see. I guess the first thing I want to do is just check the battery. I would say that really what you should do, like in a case like this, is take your battery. See, look at all that oil residue down there. I guarantee you I want to test this right now and see what it... Hey, maybe this is magnetic. It is. Alright. That's so cool. So let's test it real quick and just see what it is. But that is a problem, because really you want your engine straight to those posts with nuts. Alright, so now we're hooked up. And what do we got? We got a Bass Pro Shops 24M. Pull cranking. Let's see if we see it anywhere. It's a 24M starting battery. I may have to look this one up. Basically, I decided I'm going to take everything off of those connectors. Worst case, like I can, or not worst case, but I can just put my battery on it, because I got a good battery, you know. But yeah, it's way down in there. But what were you saying, Chuck?
Well, I was saying these batteries here, the Optimus over here, I guess that's running a stroll motor. What are they?
6 to 17.
1,000.
They're an AGM though, so
1,000 cranking amp, 800 co-cranking amp.
That's 9 years.
50 amp hours.
Yeah, it's 9 years.
So
he got out of those batteries.
Looks like he's got 20 or 2 of them, so he's probably got 24
volt
trolling motor. But,
with this boat, really, he needs a 36.
Looking at it, look at the wing nuts and the terminals, how they're all rusted.
Yeah, all that had to be replaced. That one is a type where, you know, you have to do it like this, because it's, you know, it just doesn't have, you know what I mean, it doesn't have posts. So yeah.
But see, I hate these wing nuts. I use a lock washer, you know, the ones that are split.
Right.
You know, and they mash down.
Right.
Whenever you put the nut on there. And then I put a nut, tighten it down, torque it, and then I put a nut on top of that.
Yeah.
It can't back out.
It can't, because the heat cycles are going to go, and eventually it's going to get loose.
People don't think about all that turbulence going down the lake. It loosens these terminals up. It's in one trip. All it takes is one trip on the lake. Seriously.
Yeah, really.
You know.
Especially like these engines, they really, like I said, they want to have a certain voltage, or they won't really, they won't even give you spark. I'm thinking that's probably what's happening here.
So did they not use stainless steel wing nuts over here?
They most likely bought the cheapest ones at auto parts place.
Stainless steel wouldn't rust like that.
That's how they are at all the auto parts places, though. These are really cheap connectors. You know, $5, and now they're more than that. But
I guess what I'm asking is, what kind of material is that? Because that...
Well, the one is probably zinc, I guess, and then you got what is stainless steel. The problem is it the reaction, because of dissimilar metals.
See, like this, if you could show your camera here, this is a good example. You see this terminal right here? That's actually, or this here terminal. This, you can see is stainless steel, but the wing nut's not.
Right.
I'm talking about the terminal on the end of the wire. See how it's stainless steel?
Yeah.
And it didn't rust, but this did.
Yeah.
And even the thread, the all thread is not even stainless steel, which is weird.
I mean, I don't know. It may just look like that because it's got rust on it. I don't know.
Well, what I'm saying is they wouldn't rust. Stainless,
Well, they shouldn't.
they wouldn't if it was stainless steel.
Yeah, the problem.
I mean, am I wrong? Somebody comment below. Am I wrong?
No, they're just getting cheap on everything, man.
I don't know at all. I'm just observing. Now, like, look, here's a wing nut down here. It fell.
Yeah.
And let me, if I can dig it up, I'll show it to you here in a minute.
All right. Well, while he's doing that, basically, I just come through with, some tie wraps, and then I just tie wrap all the grounds together. In this case, what I'm gonna do, you can't see it. I'm sorry. I'll tie wrap this together, but basically what I'll do is I'm gonna take this all apart. And I'm gonna put the engine straight to the battery. Well, I gotta charge it first to see if it even is anything worth a crap, or I just go ahead and hook up my battery. I guess I could do that too. Maybe that's a smarter thing to do. So yeah, the wing nuts. That's a stainless steel one.
So I don't know what these are, but I wouldn't think they would rust like that, but I could be wrong. I don't know.
Right.
Just kind of weird. Just an observation.
Anyway.
I know there's a lot of backflow.
Here, be my camera guy for a second.
I know there's a lot of backflow from water, whenever you're coming off a pad, but that's kind of shocking to me that
is like that.
is like that.
Right. So I'm gonna take like this and this.
Looks like they got some jumper cables back here in case they need them.
This is smart.
Yeah. Right here, guys. Check it out.
I mean, this engine can take an AGM, but really, I mean, now you can use a screwdriver or you can use a tool. It's whatever you think.
Be careful now.
And I'm gonna make sure we're off.
Yeah, make sure the power's off. Don't goober up them threads, whatever you do. There you go. It's loose.
Goober. What's this? Is that a horn? A warning horn? I don't know what that is.
What, that box there?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I bet it is. I bet it's a warning horn. This used to have a
look at all that. It's 3, 4.
Yeah, see, I'm gonna put these back on. I don't care about those. It's like, dude, you guys they don't know.
No.
You want to like be judgmental, but at the same time, like a lot of people, they just don't know.
They just don't know.
And that's the thing in life anyway. If you don't know, you don't know.
But in my mind, a wing nut is the worst possible fastener you can use.
You can see how
on a boat battery.
You can see how I still didn't have it tight enough there. Right.
It's just a waste.
It's still not
It's a waste.
It's still not tight enough,
Yeah. And people just don't take into consideration the amount of turbulence coming off a plane, getting up on plane and driving down the lake.
Right.
All that. It's a lot of turbulence, man.
Yeah.
Especially when the wind's up.
This is just moving around,
You got to think when the wind's up. Maybe the lake's white capping a little bit.
Right.
This thing gets beat around, dude.
Yeah.
Them wing nuts are gonna back out. It's inevitable.
It'd be okay if it backs out for the house, but not your engine. You need your engine for survival.
Exactly.
But I'm gonna clean it up first with some super cleans. Well, there you go. It's a bad battery. It's blowing all that stuff out because they probably cranked on it.
I don't see it being yet, Jim.
You're right.
Where is it being? I don't even see where it's supposed to be. got water coming out right here, but I think that's normal. What's this?
It's got PSI gauge.
Does it?
I want to see if it's. I mean, I think it's cooler though. But we're wondering if this one and that one, are we firing there or not? Hang on to this. Good there. It's fired. It's fired. It's fired. You need to see if it's charging. Yeah, it's charging. Hey, I was going to tell you guys on this Venom, in the very back there's a flush port where you can just take a socket and you can take it off and you can hook up your garden hose and flush it. Well, on that little fitting there's a little bitty hole that's got a little brass, and that's where your water comes out, and that's your pee hole, and it'll go over. Like, it kind of freaked me out because I was like, where's the pee hole? So when I took it apart, it was stopped up with all kinds of sand and debris and stuff. So I cleaned it out, flushed it out good, and then it was peeing just fine. So of course we didn't do a water pump on it or anything, but if you're wondering, that's where it is. Got this Hydrosport. I just got it running. Had a bad battery, but he's wanting a few other things. So, like, you know, it's kind of how it starts. Like, you get a project and then it turns into a much bigger project than you knew, which is why, like, I started taking one boat at a time or a couple boats. Sometimes I might have 3, just depends on what, but I'm kind of keeping it more calm over here, if you will. This one, like, we got it running, right? I don't know. I don't have really a relationship with this guy. And so he's like, oh, I want you to fix this and I want you to fix that. And he starts pointing out all the stuff. So you kind of, you know, you're talking about, because there's a lot of things to talk about. So, sorry. Move this way. I think it looks better. So I'm going to start doing this. I'm going to start, like, I list things out, not to give all this information, but I usually list these things out, like while I'm doing the invoicing and stuff. The problem with that is it's all on the computer, so it's computer work, so you're just doing it, like, when you have time, you know. So I think from now on out, I have a notebook. The notebooks are cheap. We started out with notebooks and as kids, you know. Like, I don't know, this is how, if you do it on your phone, you know, if you get you a notebook, it doesn't matter. Anyway, just get you a notebook. So, like, on this one, I think the biggest thing is, like, well, first of all, I'm just gonna label it Hydrosport, and so he's got something going on with his fuel gauge or sending it. So to check that, I'm gonna have to take the access panel, and it's pretty easy because there's just 3 screws. Some of what they did I liked. Some of this, it was, I don't know, it's another Earl Bent's boat, so it's cool in a lot of respects, but then in some things it's a very fishable boat. If it was a little bigger, I think I would enjoy. I would think, yeah, that's cool. It's a 196. So that means it's a 19-foot 6-inch boat. But the deck is shallow to me. I think if this came back, because they put the fuel tank underneath, so that means the back deck is extended. For 2 guys, I guess it's probably cool. I like me and Chuck, when we get up on the front deck, man, we get to figure it out. But anyway, so it's got a fuel gauge or a fuel sending unit problem. And then, so that's probably the number 1. And then 2, pee out of. And you notice you got a flush, so we can put a socket on that and get that off. And try to figure out what's going on with that. There is a little hole right there that should, I think it's supposed to shoot this way. So that's probably clogged up. Let's fix that. Now, and the other thing is this gauge. Okay, this just works off of water. Shit. I don't know if you can see it pointing up in there. But this is your water pressure gauge. Right there. When you notice that it's off, it's showing like there's, I don't know, 18 pounds of pressure. That's not right. So if you turn the key to the on position, we get lights, we get all kinds of stuff, but we're not getting this, and we're certainly not getting the fuel gauge. We get this gauge, which is kind of your old school, when he had, especially like when he had oil, I don't know, no oil, he still got his alarms, right? But this is unplugged. So the only thing really is the temperature, and anyway, the check engine light. That's the only thing that's really available. So I don't know how he has these wired, most likely this should be straight 12 volts from the key ignition on purple wire. So my plan is to take these off. There's 4 screws. And then told me his tank is right here, because I don't know this boat. So we got to take that off in order to get to the sending unit. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to check the integrity of the wires. In order to get to this gauge back here, so this is how complicated it can be. Only way to get to this gauge is to take this off. Because the way Hydro Sports is made, this is 3/4 inch. It's like some kind of plywood or marine grade sheeting, and it goes all the way over. And it kind of cuts off where you can't get your hands. If they would have made this, you could have cut out more. Like you could modify this later, I guess, or just take all those screws off. But now we have to take all those screws off. I mean, I don't know, it's a bunch. So there's 4, there's another 4, there's 8, 9, 10, I guess. And then, so there's that. Okay, so we got our fuel sending unit. We want to check our water pressure gauge, or find out what's going on there. So that pee hole is clogged. Okay, so I got those 2 things. Alright, so now I'm going to skip a line or 2 there. I'm going to put, he has these little, this one's got the cap. This is something else he asked. See how it has the little cap? Which is cool. So you just pull it out, push it in, pretty neat. These were for like black lights. He says he likes to fish at night. This guy works like 3rd shift, so You know, he's used to being up late, early, all kinds of hours. He wants me to look and see if I can fix those. The one on the other side does not have a one of these caps, which, you know, you're gonna lose them if you don't keep track of them. You know how, anyway. So he wants me to check out those, and they're a 1/4 inch. And I found the moonrise ones. This is different. I can get Mauser and I can get this piece, but it's like they call it a phone jack, you know, or you could call it like a guitar. We're gonna say it's a female, see, because you're male into it. And somewhere he has the lights, so so I wanted to see if they work. Alright, this is the flush port off of that engine. And this is how I found it. I just took this and stuck it in there. But check this out. It's all clogged up. So, I mean, it's probably a pretty reliable device. Yeah, we'll just clean this up. He must have hit some sand. Man, Chucky's wearing out my towels. Look at that. Full of sand. Probably gonna have to go in there and run some water. I got a guitar string. Look at that. Oh yeah, she was all clogged up. Look, it just packs it back down. Wow, that's a trip. Look at that. That's how much came out. See if we can keep digging as much out. Yeah, it's getting better now. Got this. Oh yeah, that's clear all the way up now. Maybe we can blow some. I know you guys are like, come on, man. Enough with the silicone spray. Yeah, there we go. That gives give it a little lubrication there. A little lubrication there, feller. That's pretty good. Now to pee. I was like, wait a minute, where it should be, and then, you know, like, you're a dummy, man, because it comes out right there. It just happens to be all clogged up. So we're gonna flush it, because if it's like this, then it's something in line. I bet it's the same way, and it's probably not really cooling great. I kind of want to make a short piece of hose. I don't have it just yet, but see how you have, see, I have this, and I could take it off and thread it in. But really, see, then this hits it, so I need a short piece of hose. So I might look and see what I got. I'm trying to think if I got anything. You didn't see any of that, I'm sorry. I'm just talking without putting it in your face, but you almost need a short piece of hose, and then this. I mean, you could go directly in with this, but the problem I have with that is that I don't think I'm on. Hope not. The only problem with that is that you know, you still need that valve because you don't want to just go full pressure, especially where I live. It's really a lot of pressure. I mean, that's a lot of pressure. So let me see what I can come up with. See, I just made up a little piece. Now it should be, oh yeah, it's all clogged up here too. Oh boy, let me show you guys this. Wow. See if we can dig some of that out of there, because that's not gonna work. Yeah, I'm gonna try to flush it a little bit first. And theoretically, we should see the needle on that gauge meter. I bet it's just plugged up. Anyway, you can see it like for yourself. Like there's water coming out. This has got these little relief holes somewhere up here in it. And then, you know, but normally you would see it like coming out of here. So we're just kind of back flushing. But you can see like the gauge up here, it's not really moved at all. And I've got the key on. So probably the line, you know, there's a line. Actually, this one isn't. This one is electronic. So I don't know, you know, what to tell, yeah, what I would say about it. I guess the best thing to do is flush it, start it up, and see, you know, see how it does. I'll back the pressure off now. I'm gonna have to fill up a little bit more water in there anyway. And then we got this all cleared out. So now we can put it back in and see if we get should get some good water pressure. Ah, now it tastes oily. We could probably hook him up some juice. Make sure these are charged. Anyway, these are his trolling motor batteries, and then we could check this off our list and be done with that, and then move on from there to see. But I don't think that gauge is working, so my next thing to do is check this fuel sending unit and gauge and see what he wants to do about that. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, thinking out loud while I'm doing this, drinking coffee. It's Friday, it's right before Labor Day, and I hope everybody's doing great. Thanks for watching, subscribing, liking the videos, commenting, all that stuff that everybody tells you, but I really do appreciate it. And we're just trying to do the best we can. You know, it's a country boy's gotta survive. Anymore, it's the city boys gotta survive. It's the freaking everybody's gotta survive. You know, I don't know why in the world people gotta keep killing each other, but they keep doing. They're arguing over stuff that don't matter in the big scheme of it. Your God's not bigger than my God. But anyway, thank you. All right, checking this fuel sending unit, right? So this is like my setup. So you can check for power and grounds and all that stuff. It's super dirty. Probably another good candidate for super clean. But we need to check and see if it's a gauge or if it's this or what. So I've got, because I don't know how much fuel's in this. I have no idea. But I've got my blue wire is going in there, and it's going, if you notice, to the signal wire. Just post right in the middle. And then I kept a good 100 ohm resistor, and I do one side of that through my little jumper wire. Then I take another jumper wire and I connect it on to a light, because the light will draw some current, and so that's kind of good. You know, you just don't want to blow up the gauge, because if you went straight 12 volts straight to the gauge, you probably might blow it up. So what we're looking for is, right now, if I look over at my gauge and our key is on the on position, we can see that like it's all the way empty, right? So if this is a 330 ohm resistor, we should have some, you know, something, right? So we're going to confirm with the key off first. We're going to go back over here. You saw there was nothing. I'm going to connect onto that resistor down there. And this should be a little less than a half a tank. 100 ohm resistor. So maybe a little less than half. So now if we look over here and I turn the key to the on position, hopefully it goes to there. And it does. So we probably have a fuel sending unit problem. That looks like that reads exactly correct. So that gauge is fine. It's really the sending unit. So I noticed that this is really dirty. So I think the first thing to do is just go in here and clean it up. You know, maybe go get that spray super clean, and then just spray this down, and then I'll have to get out my hose, unfortunately, and hose it down. So I think that's really the next thing to do, and maybe I can check that off my list. The other thing I did was I have a 1/4-inch cable. These are from the old days, and you know, I can go and round and check all of these little 1/4-inch outlets and see if we got 12 volts there. So we're going down our list, we're whittling it away slowly, but I think that's the first thing to do here, because I don't know, maybe the sending unit is sticking a little, or you know, which is possible, like the oil has made the magnet loosen up, or the float's not moving up and down. My problem here is that, like, I believe this is going to be really hard to get this out. Like, you almost need to take this midsection or something, or take this whole thing loose so that you can get in there. You got to get the tank out. I think that's to change this one. So this one's going to be a pricey job. Either that, or you just keep filling it up and you just don't run it out of fuel. So, you know, which may be the solution too. So I don't know what to tell you. Tell you what, this stuff is great. It's in the bottle. You can see where it takes that old grime off the top. We're mostly worried about that. I'm not going to do much more than that. I guess I could take the brush and just kind of brush it. Let it sit there and soak for a minute. Yeah, this is really bad. But up here is where I was worried about. Get a toothbrush or something. I'm not going to get too crazy because I can't really get it out. And I got to figure out what he wants to do. So more climbing in and out of boats. Just let it sit there soak for a minute. I kind of want to get up there on top. Probably have been better with the hose, but this works. You can see it, man. It comes right off. Chuck, I don't know where Chuck bought this, but works good, man. Look, all that just comes right off of there. So I got one dropping this morning on these guys, and I'm going to show you guys this again because, you know, you need to see it. This is really old stuff. Look at that. It just melted off. Probably have to go get some more water. Anyway, I mostly want to see by cleaning this off if maybe by chance we you know, maybe it was this fuel line right here, which is most likely goes all the way over to the fuel bulb, needs to be replaced in my opinion. I mean, the line looks good, all this looks good, so now all we gotta do is just let it kind of dry out. Anyway, I have a weird fascination, I think, with cleaning stuff. But then, you know, there's some things in my life, it's mostly because I don't want to do it. I don't keep clean, you know. Or I don't bother keeping clean, I guess. Alright, that's enough. Let's let that just sit there. Now we can still read our tank. We know exactly what kind of tank it is. So, Inca, whoops, Crosslink Poly, 812 of 97. And this thing can hold 46 gallons or 174 liters. Wow. But yeah, getting that out of there, we don't have enough room. Even a reed style, you know, because the tank is probably, I don't know, it could be even less than, see, we got a little step up right here. So you can see, like, you know, this thing is this far up. So I don't know. I'm thinking it goes all the way to the floor. But I really don't know. I guess the only way to do this is to take this whole seat out. And so you could slide the tank forward enough that you can get to the sending unit. Because I verified that the fuel gauge works. You know, with my little handy dandy, you know. Oh, by the way, this goes all the way to ground, and then you're gonna go through the light, through a resistor. So you're gonna have to get yourself a resistor, and then you're gonna connect to the this, you know, is gonna connect to our signal line. So that big thick line that you saw was most likely, it's like a hot or something. You got a ground, you got to make sure you're getting a ground. And I didn't really check that. I'm going to check that next. We'll just get my meter out, put on continuity, and it should show me ground. So we don't have to have the switch on for that. It doesn't come from there. And I guess we can move on to our next thing and check off our list and kind of clean up, and then wait on our customer to see what he wants to do. Alright, check it out. Here's my notes so far on this Hydrosport. Clean sending unit and tank. Okay, so we have a fuel gauge. You know, was trying to figure out what was wrong with it. So we found out the gauge is fine, and but I'm still letting it to dry, so we're going to determine if that sort of works or doesn't. For water pressure on the gauge, I don't believe it to be reading correctly. I flushed the engine. Excuse me. And there was a lot of sand in the pee hole, so we did that. The 1/4-inch jacks, the female. Okay, so I can't determine where the line's going. So what I've decided is, really, they're old. You can't get these. They're like $24 a jack. And even if I got the Mauser equivalent, you're looking at least paying, you know, probably $18 a jack once you add in all the costs and everything. So maybe there's a different thing he can do there, or he can purchase a kit that's all the lights together. That's kind of what I'm recommending. Because if you do it, you need to run all new wire, a switch, some power and grounds to a fuse. You could run 2 powers and 2 grounds, and then you could just do them in serial, or you could just do one set of them. But he's gonna have to figure out what he wanted to do. Okay, so if the sending unit is bad, we're gonna have to remove the seats and the base to access the fuel tank, because the fuel tank's gonna have to be pulled out in order to remove the sending unit. And then again, like the water pressure gauge, it's not working properly, and I don't know if it's the wire integrity, the gauge. There's no, so that one is not like pressure down the line, I don't believe. I'd have to pull the panel to look, but I'm pretty sure when I laid under there, I didn't see any water line to the gauge. So that means it's getting its information from the engine side, and we'd have to check all that. Maybe we got a line partially blocked on the head itself. Probably needs new thermostats. I'm going to suggest that. Let me write that down too. And man, at idle, this thing is really running rich because it doesn't have the fuel pump. I don't know. That's a whole nother thing where you could replace the double pumper and with the double pumper, or you're gonna have to put a new fuel pump on it. As me, I'd go back to the oiler, but he blew up an engine one time. He said it was, so you know, he doesn't want that oiler. So we're gonna find out what he wants and what he doesn't want. This is how I can, so when they do, like when I do get a customer, it's real, I'm not saying he's picky, I'm just saying he knows his boat, so I can answer all his questions quickly and effectively. You get what I'm saying. Anyway, there's where I'm at. Thanks for watching all the way through. You're part of our awesome community. Love this video? Hit subscribe for more adventures. The best way to support us is at hawkeyemarine.net. Shop outboard powerheads, lower units, and top quality boat parts. It fuels our content and keeps you on the water. Visit today. We'll see you next time.